Is the mic on? Episode 140. 140. What's wrong with Orny Adams? Let me start by saying the tragedy that has hit Los Angeles in these fires is beyond anything I can comprehend. My heart fully goes out to everybody that's lost their homes, been dislocated, homes got looted. I had a show Saturday night at the Ice House. It's really hard in light of all this stuff to get up there and talk about paper clips and what's wrong with paper clips. But, others will argue that in times like this, we need to laugh. So that being said, I will tell you my story in regards to these fires and what I went through, which is nothing compared to what a lot of other people went through. But a lot of people have asked, and I want to tell you, and this is probably the best way to tell you. So, I was out of town. I flew out on Tuesday of last week. And, let me, before I really get into this podcast, let me say a couple of things. My head is all over the place. I'm in 50 different places right now. And, I'm sick. I'm really sick. And I don't know if I, put my phone on silent here. Let me do this. I'm really sick. I just did that like a kid. See, I'm really sick. Can't go to school, Ma. Look at that. So let's play the theme and then let's just get into this. This is a tough podcast for me to do, but I'm going to do it. So what's wrong with Orny Adams, episode 140. Welcome back, everybody. You know the email, what's wrong at ornyadams.com. You can keep in touch. Well, we could use some rain here in Los Angeles. Did a show last night with Harlan.
He's got crazy hair.
He's got great big eyes. What's his name, Kev?
Orny.
Bringing this down. I did a show at the Comedy Store last night. Really enjoyed it. Felt like the first time I was sort of back after what I've been through the last 2 weeks and what my state has been through for the last 2 weeks. And I walked into the green room and Pete Holmes is in there, and Pete Holmes starts doing an impression of Orny Adams. Then Brad Williams comes in and Brad starts doing an impression of Orny Adams. Next thing you know, we got Orny Adams talking to Orny Adams. Those two guys. And I said, you got to take this on the road. You got to do theaters. Dueling Ornys. And I'd love it if you did theaters and sold more tickets than I sell. That put me in a good mood. I had a show at the Ice House Saturday night. I'll talk about it. I mean, it was one for the ages. My head was just in a different place. So there's going to be a couple of things I go over in this podcast. I was away. I was doing a corporate show. Then I went on vacation. And I'll say this, vacationing is not for Orny Adams. For some reason, I'm not allowed to vacation in my life. I'm not allowed to enjoy myself like other people can. I talked about it in episode 120. I think 120 was when I went to Sedona. I got attacked by otters. It just isn't for me. So let me start off being serious and somber and tell you what I personally went through, understanding this is nothing compared to what most people went through. But for me, very traumatic, probably why I'm sick right now. I flew out of here last Tuesday. I was going to Orlando to do a private show. And when I left, they said it was going to be windy. My only concern was taking off in the airplane. Can we take off in these winds? I never thought about the fires. In fact, I left my house, I left windows open, which is stupid because some of them don't have screens and embers could fly in. I never thought about it. I never thought about, grabbing certain possessions and putting them in a place that would be safe outside my house. I didn't have a to-go bag. I just wasn't prepared because you never think your house is going to burn down. And you never think if it is going to burn down, you think you're going to have time. I guess it's like death. You think, oh, I'll never die. And when I die, I'm going to have sort of an exit ramp and I'll be able to say goodbye to people. But it can happen fast. You know what I mean? it could happen fast. A missile could hit my trailer right here. My big yellow trailer, take me out right now. So I flew out on Tuesday. There was no sign of anything. My show was Wednesday night. So I fly out Tuesday, land in Orlando, and I'm seeing all these notifications about the fires in California. I'm like, what's going on? This is bad. And I'm getting alerts. This fire app is sending me alerts. In my neighborhood, I'm on 3 neighborhood chats. I live in an area where there's 3 separate neighborhoods. I'm in the middle, so I engage in all 3 of them. And there's panic. And I've never seen panic like this. And I stayed up all night Tuesday night watching the news on YouTube, the local California news on YouTube, all night. God bless local news. I want to donate to the firemen of Los Angeles, and I want to donate to local news. Support local news. These people were courageous. They were in the fire zones, and they kept us informed. Thank you. And then this Fire Watch or First Watch, whatever this app is, nonstop notifications. And I'm up all night, and I'm thinking, I hope that this, I know the fires were far away from me. One was in basically Pasadena, where my show was Saturday night. But, in fire miles, that's a lot light. Like if Pasadena is 25 miles away, in fire miles, that's like 2 miles. All it takes is an ember to skip and then another ember to skip. And these goddamn embers love to skip and land on our roofs. I was up all night. And I was in a really nice resort. For some reason, when you flush the toilet, water came up into the sink. I'll show you the video later. And I had a show Tuesday. I had a sound check at noon, and I was concerned, but not so concerned because the fires were, with some distance. And I believed that they could get them out with the helicopters, but they weren't flying the helicopters with the water and doing the drops because it was too windy. So I'm preparing for the show, and I'm doing my regular stuff. And, I've got the news on. I'm looking at my notes, but I'm watching KCAL 9 or whatever it is. And it gets time for the show. And I go to room service. And I remember everything was fine. I made a video of the sink. The sink with water coming up when I flush the toilet. And I go to the show. I get dressed and I go down and I'm backstage. And I'm going on in about 40 minutes. And it's a huge room. It's got 600-700 people in it. It's a corporation that hired me. They hired me in 2017. And they're all excited and they have huge expectations. And, I've got to deliver. It's a big gig for me. It's a big gig for them. It's a big night for them. And I've got to put this concern out of my head that there's fires in Los Angeles and people are losing their homes. And I've got to segregate. I've got to be show Orny and not homeowner, lives in Los Angeles, has friends where the fires are happening. And, in the meantime, you're checking in with certain people that live in certain areas saying, hey, how you doing? Are you is everything okay? About 40 minutes before I'm supposed to go on, and I'm backstage, I've got all my notes. And I just, I'm like, just ready. And the neighborhood chat blows up and says, there's a fire really close to us. And this area that caught on fire is basically a forest. It's basically, it's what catches on fire. It's just all trees. And trees that haven't been watered in 8 months. We haven't had an ounce of water in 8 months. And we can get into what is causing that another time. We can get into how did Los Angeles handle these fires another time. And I got scared. I got really scared that I was going to lose my home. Because this fire that erupted was 200 yards from my house. And I saw pictures. People are sending me pictures. And it looked big and scary. And all I know is the other fires just started and it just devastated everything for square miles. And I said, I said, this looks really bad. And I also thought, well, are they going to have the resources? Are there any fire trucks left? Are there any helicopters left? Like, how are they going to get this out? And now it's 20 minutes before I'm going on stage. I'm going on stage at 8. It's now 7:40. I go to the bathroom. I walk out of I'm in backstage. I find this bathroom. I go to the bathroom and the phone rings. And it's an LA number. And it was a neighbor who's never called. And he sounds really panicked. And he said, "Are you home?" I said, "What's going on?" I thought my house was on fire. And he said, "Are you home?" I said, "No, I'm not home. Is everything okay? Is my home okay?" And he said, "Yes, but, are you aware of what's going on? It's right there." And I said, "I'm very aware." And I was kind of rude to him. I should apologize, but I was freaked out because the guy's never called before. I didn't even know he had my number, and I thought something was wrong, really wrong. And then, as I'm zipping up and walking out, I didn't even get a chance to zip up. The phone rang, and it was another LA number, and it was the city telling me to evacuate. So within 20 minutes of this fire starting, we're told to evacuate. That means pack up your life, get the title to your home, title to your car, passports, birth certificates, our albums, whatever. Money, get out. Clothes, get out. Where you're going, I don't know. Enjoy the traffic jam. And I thought I was going to throw up. Walked out of the bathroom. I didn't even pull my pants up. I'm not even kidding. Somebody who was supposed to be in the show saw it. And 10 minutes before they came backstage and somebody said, "Are you ready to go on?" And I said, I'm freaking out because we just got evacuated. I told them about the fires earlier. And they said, "Okay, you ready to go on?" I thought, shit, nobody gives a shit. And so I said, I'm sure the person gives a shit. They just probably didn't hear me. And so I went on. I did exactly an hour. And my neighbor had texted me, who's usually right about a lot of things, and he said, "This doesn't look good. It's 50-50 on our homes," meaning whether our homes survive. And I did the show. I don't know where my head was. I would say probably not a great show. Probably I don't know. I don't know if I could have been better. I don't know if it was a great show. I don't know if, when you don't have the capacity to fight, to make something better, meaning I had no energy. I'm thinking about my house burning down. I don't have what it takes to overcome what's usually insurmountable situations in comedy and conquer and give these people what they deserve. And I did the show. And I think they loved it. And I got off stage and there was a text from somebody who was on the other side of the fire, and they said, "I think it's out." That was the first text I saw. I'm walking. I took the phone on stage, which I never do, and I'm walking off stage with the phone, and I see it. As I'm walking, I'd exited the stage and I'm looking at it. I feel like I'm going to throw up right now. And I thought I was going to throw up. I thought the adrenaline just left me. I feel like I could throw up right now. I really feel that way, thinking about it. And I can't imagine what the people that lost their homes went through. And they got the fire out. Those firemen saved my home. There's no question. There's no question the firemen saved my home. I am so grateful to them. Grateful to the people with the helicopters. Grateful to Canada that gave us a couple of helicopters that were scooping water from the ocean. Los Angeles Fire Department, LAD, whatever the acronym is, saved my home, and I thank you. Jamie Masada, the owner of the Laugh Factory, called me and he said, can you do a benefit? And I said, this weekend for the firemen, I said, more than anything, I'd love to do that. I'm out of town. I can't. And he said, during the fires, they asked me if I could open up the Laugh Factory so the firemen could come in here and go to the bathroom. I said, Jamie, what are you doing? Tell them to urinate on the fire. Is anybody thinking? So that night, I stayed up once again all night because what happened? Our homes were saved. Can we celebrate? No, we can't, because now we have looters. What a wonderful, wonderful world we live in. Now we've all evacuated. The looters know this, whoever the looters are. We got arsonists, because there's no question some of these fires were started by arsonists. There's no question. We have video in the neighborhood of people coming and going from the fire with backpacks and stuff. And somebody saw somebody trying to light a fire in a sewer down the street. Like, there's no question. And we have arsonists and looters. What a world. So now some brave neighbors come back here while we're still during an evacuation and guard our homes. They stayed up all night walking around the neighborhood in cars with bats and probably other weapons, ready to take down looters. And I was up all night. Maybe I slept a couple of hours, and I was picked up at 5 o'clock in the morning because, and I had to decide, do I go on the vacation or not? Do I go home? Well, here's the other thing. We had no electricity for 5 nights. 5 nights. So our neighborhood's pitch dark. We've evacuated. The looters know. The looters know that most security cameras don't work without electricity and Wi-Fi. They know that the alarms aren't working. And I want to thank everybody in my neighborhood that guarded my home. I couldn't tell them that I, Orny Adams, was on vacation in Costa Rica. I went away, and I want to tell you this. I'm switching now the mood of the podcast. I had one of the greatest weeks of my life. I would say Costa Rica was transformative, life-changing, epiphany giving. And in light of sitting there half the time reading notifications from the neighborhood, whether our houses were being looted or burnt down, I connected with this place. I know that some people think there's like an energy vortex around places like Sedona. I felt this in Costa Rica. I got off that plane and it was like everything just left me, all my problems. Because I saw a world where your homes and these possessions don't matter as much as America. America is a disease. The country's diseased. The people are diseased. Orny Adams is diseased. And I didn't realize how deep I was into this. And how little matters. You know, I often fantasize about death because in death, we all become equal. I don't care how many Netflix specials you have. I don't care how many billions you have. When you're dead, you're equal. You're all equal. Unless you believe in an afterlife. I'm not considering that. Costa Rica has a country mantra called Pura Vida, which I think translates to pure life. I haven't looked it up, but I think Pura Vida means pure life. America has a mantra called what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. Do you see the difference? When I was in Costa Rica, it was people that weren't aggressive. It was people not beholden to a to-do list. Nobody was telling you what they were getting done every day, what they had to do. Nobody was anxious. Nobody was like talking about going to the gym or coming from the gym or I have to go to the gym. Nobody was working out. Nobody was concerned about their image. People wearing flip-flops to nice restaurants. People were wearing what they wore at the beach to the nice restaurant. People moved slower. Nobody ever asked you, do you want to order more food? It didn't feel capitalistic. They didn't ever ask if you wanted the check. You had to ask for it. In America, we try to do too much in a day. We're sick. It felt safe there. There were no guns. I didn't feel like I was going to get shot. Nobody talked about politics. Nobody was jockeying for position. You know, you come back to America and you're in a parking lot. Everyone's cutting you off. They're trying to get your space. You go shopping. People are moving carts and pushing you out of the way. There's none of that in Pura Vida. They eat to eat. Not every meal is a major discussion. Not every meal has to be deliberated over and has to be the greatest meal of all time. What matters here in the United States doesn't matter there. And I realized the epiphany I had was most of my life is nonsense. It's nonsense. I'm sitting there thinking, oh my God, if I wasn't here right now, I'm on the beach enjoying my life. I'm drinking a beer at noon. Who is this guy? I would be at the Improv right now. I felt my life was absolutely meaningless. It made me question everything. And I didn't want to come home. If I didn't have a show at the Ice House, sold out, oversold out, on Saturday night, I would have stayed. I would have stayed. People say, well, what is it about Costa Rica? I said, I can't explain it. It's just like all of a sudden, every burden was just gone. I can't explain it. It was just all of a sudden, nothing mattered. My to-do list, my problems, my home, everything. Here I was, just in the moment. Never been in the moment like this. That in the moment. That present. Just wake up and eat and walk around on the beach. I didn't know I loved the beach so much. Got massages. Got 3 massages in 24 hours. On the beach. Went into the water alone and just enjoyed. Then somebody told me that in this town I was in, that sometimes alligators, because there was a sign that said there are alligators like a little bit further down from the beach. Sometimes they go into the water, and one actually bit a surfer. And I thought, I can't believe this. I almost got bit by an alligator in Costa Rica. First the otters tried to take me out. Now the alligators. Holy shit. If I got bit by... what are the chances in an ocean you get bit by an alligator? Is that rare? Feels rare to me. If I'm that guy, I don't want to be laughed at in the green room at the Comedy Store. I don't want that to be incorporated into Pete Holmes and Brad Williams' impersonations of me. Oh, I'm Orny Adams. Look, I got bit by an alligator in the ocean. What's going on? Get my agent on the phone. That's the impersonation that they're doing. Over the top. Brad Williams, the first time I saw it, his impersonation of me sucked. And it's gotten better. I think he was nervous. But last night I said to him, I give him my blessing. I said, you can do the impersonation. And then he loosened up and he was much better. But they're very dirty. They're dirty. I videotaped them. I'd post it, but it's so dirty. It's what they wish Orny Adams was, I guess, that dirty. Oh my God, I loved Costa Rica. I could live there. Like, what do I need anything for? And the great thing about Costa Rica is they know how to treat dogs. The dogs are just running amok in the street. I didn't see anybody walking a dog on with a chain or a collar or a leash. They would just walk next to the person. And then I saw dogs like almost in the street walking. In fact, at one point we were driving. I went with a buddy. We were driving to RNL, where the volcano is, in the rainforest, and there was a dog just in the middle of the street, just staring at the car. We had to stop. The dog's going, this is a ballsy dog. This dog doesn't care. Guy I'm with, kept honking. I'm like, dude, don't honk. They're going to come out of that house. It was like a really, underdeveloped area. I said, this is a scam. The dog stops the tourists, and they come out and they rob us. There were several times I thought we were getting robbed. We were at a gas station filling up, and there was an accident with a scooter, a motorcycle, and a couple fell off it, and the baby fell off it, and their helmets went rolling down this little hill towards the gas tank where we were. It all seemed super convenient, and my buddy goes and runs after them to make sure they're okay, and I'm like, dude, I'm watching the car. Because we're in the middle of nowhere. We've driven 6 hours through dirt roads. And it's so sad. I'm so skeptical of everything nowadays. Yesterday I went to the eye doctor. They dilated me. And I got out. And I'm downstairs. I'm about to leave. And I see a blind guy. And a blind guy, he's like sort of lost. You see a blind guy lost? It's sad. I thought, I'm going to go help him. But I also thought, is this a scam? Is this a YouTube video? Is this Howie Mandel dressed up as a blonde guy? And I helped this guy. His name was Herb, older African-American guy. And it reminded me of when I was in college, at my fraternity, I was a steward. I was the steward of the kitchen. I ran the kitchen. I collected all the money, and I ordered the food. And Herb had been there forever, and I fired Herb. For some reason, I felt like Herb had to go. I didn't think his food was any good. I think a lot of people like to get stoned with Herb. Anyway, years later, I was told by my big brother in the fraternity, Josh, that he saw Herb being homeless in Atlanta. I don't know if that's true, but I started to have flashbacks of that when I fired. I don't think I'd fire Herb today. Probably would. It was really, it wasn't good. I wonder if he's alive anymore, Herb. Where is Herb? Anyway, so I helped this blind guy. I thought this is a scam. I checked for my wallet after helping the blind guy. That's where I am in life. I'm like, this could be a YouTube video. This could be somebody coming up to you going, wait, here's $1,000 because you helped a blind guy. Or it could have been Howie Mandel pranking me once again. For some reason, my dad called me this one. He said, I'm watching this old YouTube podcast, you and Howie Mandel. Howie Mandel does stuff, and you seem uncomfortable. And so that's Howie's thing. He wants you to be uncomfortable. And then my mom, and first of all, I don't want my parents watching me. When I was in Costa Rica, I allowed my mom to track my phone. I got to turn it off. She's still tracking because she was a nervous wreck. And I can understand that. So I said, yeah, you can track me, even though I'm a full-grown adult, barely. And then she said, I posted on YouTube. This is episode 140. 139 is on Patreon. Thank you to my Patreon subscribers, by the way. And so, oh God, I don't want to have to spit phlegm in the middle of an episode. So my mom said, what? I posted 135, I think, on YouTube yesterday. And my mom's like, what's dry humping? That was the name of the episode. So now I got to explain to my elderly parents what dry humping is. These awkward moments should have ended 30 years ago when I left the house. 30 plus years. So if you notice, my podcast now has a thumbnail. After 140 episodes, I finally designed a thumbnail. I taught myself how to do it because no matter what you do, you got to do it yourself. I hired a film crew to film me on Saturday night at the Ice House, and they canceled day of. So there you go. There you go. If you want to do it in this lifetime, you got to do it yourself. I want to thank all the people that reached out to me during the fire tragedy. And I want to thank all the people that didn't reach out to me. I found it kind of annoying how many people reached out to me that I don't really know. Like, I know them tangentially or sort of casually, or I met them one time. And, it's really personal. If your house could burn down or did burn down, it's almost kind of like it's none of your business. I don't know why I feel that way, but I do feel that way. Go ahead and analyze me. I don't give a shit. But one of my ex-girlfriends checked in. A couple of them. But one I feel deeply connected to. And I won't say her name, but she, her family had a massive tragedy about 2 years ago. And, we talk, and she reached out and was very compassionate. You know, I've dated some wonderful, wonderful people that I keep in touch with. She's married and got kids now, so. You know, I that felt good, for sure. And you know what I went through those. I'm calling it 2 weeks because it feels like it's still going on. Has changed me forever. Has changed me forever. Like I noticed when I was flying to Costa Rica on that Thursday morning, when now we're in looter time in my neighborhood. For the first time ever, I watched the safety video on the plane. I'd never watched it before because I never thought anything was going to happen. And if it was going to happen, I figured it'd be fast and it'd be over. And I didn't realize that the vest is under the seat and then I have to blow it up. I fly like several times a month for the last 30 years and I didn't even know that. So it has changed me, and I've got to get this to go bag. And I've got to be ready because it's going to happen again because we just don't even have rain on the horizon here in Los Angeles. Starting to question why I'm here. Questioning everything. Costa Rica, the epiphany was, what are you doing with your life, buddy? What are you doing with your life, buddy? For the most part, all the expats, the Americans over there were great. I saw one rude American in an Italian restaurant. So rude. And of course, the guy's from Boston. I heard his accent. And then his wife had to overcompensate and be extra nice to the waitress. It was a horrible situation. I thought, why are you with this guy? Get away from this jack off. My God, life is too short. If I realized anything in the last year, and I didn't disclose to you, but I had a very tough year. I had some health concerns. That I guess that sounds dramatic. It's not that dramatic, but you may have noticed that you know, my look has changed. I feel like I've gained weight. I was very concerned. I was under a lot of stress. I was in a bad situation. And I feel alive now. Thank you, Costa Rica. Oh, Costa Rica changed me. Got recognized in the supermarket first night in Costa Rica. I don't want to brag. Girl came up to me and she said, broken English, can't I ask you? And I said, why don't you just say it in Spanish? And then she tried to say it in Spanish. I think the Spanish was worse. And then it turned out that she was from Belgium. Here I am, this stupid American going, I say it in Spanish. Oh, I stayed on a beautiful resort when I got there. Just a real, gringo escape. Made me wear a wristband the whole time. Made it feel like I had a watch on. I hated that. But how can you complain about anything? People's homes are burning down. I couldn't tell my neighbors I was out of the country in Costa Rica because I'm, begging them to watch my house. I can't be like, oh, by the way, everybody, I'm in the middle of a third massage in 24 hours. Think you can go check on my home? So the first night in the resort, oh God, it was so nice. I woke up, got a suite on the beach. Open the doors and the sunset's right there. The sun is there and people and there's energy and vibrancy, and it's not Los Angeles depressed people that don't have what they want in their careers. Put me on that list, although not depressed, but still not satisfied 100%. Nobody over there was overachieving. It was so chill. This hotel had the greatest breakfast. And then, right as breakfast ended, a monkey appears, walking across the roof of the hotel and then down and sort of like waves at all the people eating breakfast and then goes up the tree. And I said, I called the waiter. I go, well, what is that? They go, that's a monkey that lives in the hotel. I said, it doesn't grab our food. They go, oh, no. Just wants bananas. I go, this is a scam. This is a scam. They hired a monkey to, like, right when breakfast ends, to come out and wave to everybody, not eat our food. Then they bring them back, give them a bunch of bananas. It's a scam. Now, the last resort town, stayed in a really small town. I'm not even going to tell you what town it was. I don't want people to go there. I discovered it. We had howler monkeys everywhere. You could hear them all night go, it sounded like they were killing each other. It was nuts. I just want to say this, complaints about Costa Rica, besides the monkey scam, some of the worst coffee I've ever had. Every single place had breakfast included. Coffee was horrible, except for the last place was okay. Went to one high-end coffee place. That coffee was horrible. Costa Rica, get your coffee together. Thought you would known. I've had Costa Rican coffee. It's great. What happened on this trip? Please tell me. The dogs of Costa Rica, huge fan. Didn't see one dog at a restaurant. Listen to me. Not one dog at a restaurant. None. People treated their dogs like dogs. They just roamed around the street. And at night, you got to hear this. We were walking home, and listen to this. This dog. Oh, I got to talk about the first place at the beach. I should have done this joke on stage last night. Okay, listen to this. This is the dogs. This is every neighborhood in Costa Rica in this small town. Ready? These dogs are in the street. They're not behind fences or anything. They're not attacking me, but no leashes, no people, no owners. They're dogs being dogs. They're not going, oh, Fido hungry? Is that why Fido's barking? They're not bringing these dogs into the restaurant asking for a bowl for the dogs to drink out of. They're not here handing scraps to the dog. The dogs are treated like dogs. This is why I want to go back to Costa Rica. To me, this is a hit single right here. I would release this as a hit single song. Beautiful. Beautiful. You hear me laughing. Dogs acting naturally. Costa Rica lets dogs be dogs. We treat dogs better than we treat people here. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. So I'm probably going to have my buddy on to talk about the whole trip to Costa Rica, and we'll go over everything probably in a more comical sense. But spent 3 nights in this resort area, just flushed out the system of toxins, walked on the beach alone. You know, my buddy kept to himself most of the time. He was in a different hotel. I don't want to say it, but he didn't want to stay in the luxury place that I was. He didn't want to live in luxury. And then we went to this place called Orny, which has a volcano, and I paid for a room with a view of the volcano, and it was under fog the entire time. So I didn't see the volcano one time. But it was a rainforest, went on a nice hike. We saw tree frogs hidden. We saw poisonous snakes, and we saw monkeys in trees. And my buddy saw some toucans. Those birds, you know, the one that's on the Fruit Loops cover? I didn't, and I paid for the better room. He didn't pay for the better room there either. And that trip, that was, to get there, it's supposed to take 4 hours, but it takes 7 because it was raining, you know, shocking, raining in the rainforest. And the road would be damaged. So every once in a while, you'd be in dead stop traffic, you know, the kind of traffic where people are just out of their cars, just looking around and walking and talking. Do you know what's going on? And then they would have to, like, either with shovels or a backhoe or whatever you call those things, they'd have to, you know, clear the road. You'd be stuck for like 45 minutes in different spots. And these roads are like, I took some pictures. It was like you're sort of on the edge, and it's like all mud. It's all dirt. So you're just waiting for everything to just collapse and be part of a mudslide that takes you out. Because when I go on vacation always tries to kill me. Whether it's otters, alligators in the ocean, mudslides. It's not safe. It's not safe. Now, I loved Costa Rica, but could I have a vacation where it's a vacation and I'm not concerned about my home burning down the whole time or feeling guilty that I'm in Costa Rica, my neighbors have to watch my home, or that I'm in Costa Rica and other people's homes are burning down? Can I have a guilt-free vacation? Please? I want to go back. I want to go back. Arenell was great too because it's a big bird watching place. So there's all these like birders, these dorks. You know what I mean? They had rainforest camo. I'd never seen this before. Like camo just for the rainforest. These dorks, and they had big binoculars, and they had like all these. Oh, it was like an REI wet dream. These people were so excited for the birds. And I'll tell you the story with my buddies on. But these guys, because I ate breakfast with birders every day. They were such dorks. But I love birders because they're just observing nature. They just they see the bird, then they put it on the list. They check it. They don't have to shoot it and mount the bird to brag to their friends. They're not big game hunters. They just see the bird, and then the other birders take their word for it, and they go, okay, there's birder integrity. That person saw that bird. You got it. Check. And I was walking through the jungle, okay? I was walking through the jungle alone. I went for an afternoon hike alone to the waterfalls. It's gorgeous. And I saw a couple of the birders. There was a father-son birder team. It was like 2 generations of dorks. And they were all excited. And this father, complete dork, probably didn't have many friends. I don't know, I can't say that. But he's just so glad that his son is his friend. He procreated to have a friend. And I was walking with them talking, and they actually turned out to be cool guys. And I said, what kind of bird is that? And the father goes, shh. It made us all freeze. We had to I was afraid to move my eyeballs. And then they said the bird, but it meant nothing to me. Meant nothing to me. The other thing is they all have cameras too. They got these long lenses, so I guess they do document it. But we went on this 1-hour tour of the rainforest, like an introduction. And, there's always one person on the guided tour that has to show off and has to pretend like they know more than the guide. You know what I mean? Like the guy was like this, 16 kinds of hummingbirds in this rainforest. And the guy's like, I've seen 14. Oh, and then I thought the guy, he had an accent, and he looked at a rubber tree, and no. Erase that thought from your memory. It was a cocoa tree. He goes, this is a cocoa tree, and he pointed at the cocoa bulbs, and he said, that's where American companies, they make, he said, do you like Snickers? But with the accent, I heard Nike sneakers. And I said, Nike's making sneakers out of cocoa plants. And then my buddy goes, no, he said, do you like Snickers? I said, I love Snickers. So anyway, it was fun. It was fun. But now I'm sick. And I'm going to talk about the whistle. I'll talk about the whistle at the end of the podcast. We'll end on a little bit of a laugh. But let me show you this. This is from the quote-unquote 4 or 5-star resort I'm staying at. Every time I flush the sink, somebody could explain to me what this is all about. I'd love to know. Ready? This is me in the hotel sitting there. You can look, I'm exhausted. My face looks skinny. That makes me happy. But you can see I'm exhausted. Boy, my face has gotten fat lately. Does anybody want to say it publicly? Is anybody going to come up to me and go, oh, whoa, what happened to you? So I was going to post this video. In fact, I didn't post anything from Costa Rica because it just did not feel appropriate. Also, the whole time you're questioning your entire life. You're like, what is it? I sit around all day editing videos. I'm an adult, my 50s, and this is what I'm doing is editing and posting videos? How pathetic. I should be living La Pura Vida. All right, let's see if this translates. I'm at a 5-star resort in Orlando that whenever you flush the toilet in the bathroom, water gushes out of the sink. It's disgusting.
Watch this.
Ready?
Perfect video.
Come on!
It's unbelievable. Unbelievable. What is that? What causes that? Somebody told me that it has to do with water that's stuck in the pipes. I couldn't believe it. I wanted to post the video, but I go, this is inappropriate. Los Angeles is burning. Los Angeles is burning down. I can't do that. That's not right. So the trip, so now we continue on the trip. We've left the rainforest. It takes us even longer to get back. And we don't even know where we're staying. We just drove. There were a couple of small towns that I'd sort of read about. We went to 2 of them, didn't like it. Found a third one, ate. We ate at all these little, like, really cool restaurants. They're called sodas. It's less than 5 tables. It's mom and pop. No dogs. But I'll tell you, always a woman out front breastfeeding. Almost every time. Family run. Sometimes they live in the back of the restaurant. I mean, we went to places that, like, listen, I've traveled the world, and a lot of the times you don't even feel like you're in a foreign country because they got McDonald's. We didn't see McDonald's. I think we saw a KFC near the airport, but you were in another country. Like, they didn't try and speak English. You had to use a translation app. It was beautiful. It was beautiful. It felt real. It was an escape. It was a country not burdened by a dream. We have a dream in America. We make more than we'll ever need in our lives. Our focus is pathetic. Absolutely pathetic. And it made me question everything. I'm telling you, I've had 2 big epiphanies in the last one I had during COVID. And I've not shared that one with you because it is so deep and personal. But it was transformative to the way I think. And that's what these fires are going to change me. I don't even know if I want to be in Los Angeles anymore. I don't know how many possessions I want anymore. I don't know what I want. I don't know if my sick, ailing mind, I'm going to sound like Dostoevsky. I'm 40. I'm ill. There's something wrong with the amount of overachieving and us having to tell people about it. It's out of control. And I didn't feel that in Pura Vida, in Costa Rica. Costa Rica spoke to me. I'm going back. Might end up moving there. Might be, what's wrong with Orny Adams from Costa Rica? Nothing's wrong. I'm on a beach and I didn't get bit by an alligator today. So spent the last 2 nights in this really small town, met some really cool people, watched the sunset on the beach. It's everything you could imagine. It was out of a movie. How often is it out of a movie? This was out of a movie. I didn't want to come home. I can't tell you how many times I go on vacation, and about the last 2 days of the vacation, I think, okay, I'm finally relaxed. I'm ready for a vacation. I got into the minute I stepped off that plane into Costa Rica, I was ready for that vacation. And I didn't want to come home. I would have stayed if I had any obligations. And then the minute you come home, you're confronted by your home problems. I'm sick of my home problems. I'm sick of my to-do list. I'm beholden to my to-do list. What did I get done today? Come on. I'm at such a taskmaster. And the person I was traveling was like, because I had a show Saturday night and I couldn't stand how it went. And the guy's like, you're your biggest critic. And I said, yeah, I am my biggest critic. And I should be my biggest critic. People should be critical of art. You should go to an Orny Adams show and go, it should be better than the last time. And the problem I'm having now, because I had a show Saturday night at the Ice House, and I'll be back in April. And by the way, oh no, what did this say? Is it not recording anymore? It says limited space. How much limited space? Oh my God. This podcast, another tragedy. I got 15 minutes. I'll be out of here. I filled the SD card on my podcast. If you're a Patreon subscriber, I'd just like you to know that you guys are paying for all this equipment, so thank you. What just fell back here? The SD cards, I just ordered 2 more hard drives that were very expensive, so thank you, patreon.com/Orny. I appreciate it. I lost my train of thought. I apologize. I think I was... my show was really difficult. Really difficult. And because, I'm questioning everything. So I come back. I flew back on a Thursday, got in very late. And Friday, I was, sort of like, I had to make sure my house, there was soot from the fires all over the place. The fridge had to be completely, everything thrown out and cleaned out. I had to make sure all the electronics, everything's, it was a lot to do. I had to water. It was a lot to do. And somebody hit my front wall. I had to deal with that. And I don't get upset because I think, at least I have a home. And by the way, thank you. A fan gave me this Saturday night at the Ice House, this tropical cup. Thank you for the gifts. It's a family of parents and a daughter, and they come all the time. And that's the problem with these shows. You guys are coming back over and over again. That's what I wanted to say. So my tour schedule, ornyadams.com/tour. I just picked up 3 great gigs. I'm going to be in Solvang, doing a festival this year. I'm going to go place in New Mexico. Got a private show in Asheville, North Carolina. But next week I'm in Chicago. And then I'm doing my own show at the, Chicago, January 30th, 31st, and 1st. And I thought the Thursday was sold out, but it's not. There was a private group that was going to buy the entire show. They didn't. I don't know who screwed that up, but I didn't. I closed deals. So Chicago, at the Chicago Improv in Schaumburg, Illinois, in the basement of the mall. And then Feb 6, not February, Feb 6, I'm doing a show at the Laugh Factory here. I'm doing my own show. It's going to be sort of an interactive, different, deconstructed show. It's Orny Adams University. And then the 13th, I'm at the Comedy and Magic Club. Then I go to Florida. I mean, there's a lot going on. ornyadams.com/tour. I can tell you this. I think Pete Holmes is going to help me get my special going. I got to call Pete. Put that on the to-do list now. Call Pete. Be more ambitious. Get more stuff done. You're an American. Achieve, achieve, achieve. You know what Costa Rica felt like? I think this is why people do drugs. Because it's like nothing mattered. Everything was like, whew. So I could tell you 1,000 reasons why the Ice House show didn't work. First of all, I can't just get up there and just start telling jokes. I got to tell you what I've been through. I've been through potentially losing my home, then enjoying my life in Costa Rica with guilt. Then I'm sick and I haven't slept. 2 nights ago was the first time in 2 weeks I'd slept through the night, basically. I'm up every few hours checking the group chat, checking the Firewatch app, watching the news. I'm all over the place. And how do you get up there when people have lost their homes? And I'm going to joke about how there are too many shaped French fries. I'm going to complain about that. Like, my brand of comedy doesn't work in the face of such a great tragedy. Although others will say, no, we need to laugh. Well, I didn't feel right about it. So I spent the first 10 minutes on stage, and there were a lot of people. My friend Eric was there with his wife and a group of friends, and the guy who books me at the Comedy Store, he came to watch. And a lot of repeat Johnny Buss, who owns the Ice House, brought a bunch of people to watch me. But I felt like I had to tell you what I went through. And I had to explain the story much like the same tone that I explained at the beginning of this podcast. And then I talked about Costa Rica, and I tried to make it funny. And then I went into, how nobody works at Home Depot. And I just went into my routine, and I tried to make it work, but my rhythm was off. I was just off. My body wasn't moving like it normally moves. I can't breathe. I'm labored from the cold. I was coughing all day and spitting up phlegm, and I couldn't even look at my notes, and I couldn't organize where I'm going to put this bit and that bit, and where am I going to go into, and what I'm going to talk about. And I was in a fog. And I wanted to apologize to everybody. But at the same time, I think if you're a fan of comedy and you understood what I was doing, it would be super unique. But I hate when I don't have it. That's how I would describe that night. I just didn't have it. It wasn't my night. It was like on the waterfront. It's like, hey, kid, it wasn't your night. Now, people that were there would argue differently, but they don't know what I know. I know comedy like a savant. And I could have been more. And the burden I feel because the audience comes back over and over and over. It's the same people from 3 weeks ago. There were people there that were in Irvine. There were people there in Irvine the night that the kid from Lithuania had come back. And I posted that clip. They were there. There are people that see me every time. There are people that saw me 2 weeks ago at the Improv, the Laugh Factory, the Comedy Store. And they're coming over and over again. It's like, I've got to do new stuff. I've got to switch it up. I feel such a burden to them. It's harder. I feel more anxious for my shows because I feel like the expectations are elevated as they should be. Like I said before, you should be critical of comedy, of me. I know because whenever I went to arts with my family, plays, we would be critical. We're critical of restaurants. It's okay. Trust me, you can't be more critical than me. So I even watched the tape from the other night, and of course the film crew didn't show up. I would have liked to have had that one just for the records. Just because I was in such a different space that I'll never be in. No sleep, sick, thought I lost my home, a city that has, been terrorized by fires and arsonists and looters. Never have that. Now, if we were shooting a special, if you're at home watching it 8 months later, you have no idea what that audience is going through at that time. It's why taped comedy doesn't work and will never work like live comedy. So keep coming back. Keep coming back. My tour schedule is ornyadams.com/tour. All these gigs that came in when I was in Costa Rica, and I didn't care about them. Just sort of ignored them. I just said, hey, get back to you in a few days. Let my assistant deal with this stuff, right? All that stuff didn't matter. But I jumped on the phone the other day with one of the buyers because it's a big gig. And I said, how do you know me? And they said, well, we were watching Brian Regan videos on YouTube and your special popped up. And then we went to your webpage and contacted you. And that's the way it works. If you want to book me or want me to do a show, you just contact me. I don't have agents or managers. I just can't handle bullshit anymore. If anything I realized in the last year of my life, I don't want drama. I don't want bullshit. I want pura vida. I want a simple life. I want it much more simple. But at the same time, I want to do shows. I love shows. The show I did last night at the Comedy Store was exactly what I wanted to do. And I'm going to do that tonight. I'm at the Laugh Factory. And Saturday night, I'm at the Improv and probably the Laugh Factory. I haven't confirmed with them yet. And I love that. And I love doing those shows when I walk out and there's people in the audience that don't know me. Because at the Ice House, Saturday night, they were cheering like I was shooting a special. And I'm like, these people believe in me. And when I started doing comedy, it was about jokes. You went from A to Z. And if you're doing 5 minutes, 15 minutes, 30 minutes, 45 minutes, an hour, A to Z, A to Z. Joke head, boom, 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 boom. Now, I have to bring humanity because these people know me. I've got to bring a part of me. I can't get up there and not talk about what I went through with the fires. That's not honest. These people want a part of me. And they deserve it. They deserve it. So let me tell you this as we wrap up God, that leaf blower is loud. I thought we banned those gas leaf blowers. So when I was staying in this resort town, the only problem I had with it was everybody was trying to sell you drugs. I don't know what about me makes people think I want drugs. I don't do drugs. Listen, the reason I don't do drugs is the reason that the Ice House show didn't work. I need to be in control, complete control to make the right decisions. And I can't be if I'm under the influence. That's why I don't drink before a show. I don't drink the night before a show. Maybe I'll have a drink after the show if I don't have a show the next day or I'm not doing a podcast the next day. See, that's the thing is you can't enjoy your life in America because, I got to get up early the next day because I'm going to the gym, so I shouldn't drink. I can't get up because I'm shooting something the next day. I have a podcast, so I have to look at, I can't get up because I have a show that night. I can't drink because I can't enjoy my life because it's just one thing after another because I bought into the American bullshit dream. We're all going like this too fast. You got to slow down. Everybody. So you walk around on the beach. This is so great. Ready? So these guys will walk up to you and they've got a huge tray and they've got these whistles, right? And they go like this. They go. I'm not even good at it, but I got a hummingbird whistle, right? So they go. It's not even. I wouldn't have bought this one if I did. Then they look at you and they go, whistle? You go, no thanks. And then they go, cocaine? I go, what? That's a big leap. You went from whistle to cocaine? I go, no, I don't want any cocaine. And so the whole time, whistle, cocaine? Like they come up to you like every 50 yards. Whistle, cocaine? And, I'm afraid to talk to these guys because, I don't want to be seen with the whistle cocaine people, but it's my new ringtone. Whistle, cocaine. And so I thought, I got to buy one of these whistles. So the guy goes, whistle, cocaine? I said, no, I'd like a whistle. It's almost like trick or treat. You ever had that family that goes, let's see the trick. Let's see the trick. So I said, I'd like a whistle. I go, how much? He goes, 10. I go, I'll give you 5 American. And he goes, you want cocaine? I said, no, I don't do drugs. I said, I want the whistle. Guy's like in shock. He's never just sold a whistle. This poor guy has to go back to his boss now and explain that he just sold a whistle. The boss is gonna be like, wait a minute. You have 10 packs of cocaine and 9 whistles? What are you talking about? Yeah. Gingo he just wanted a whistle. A horrible accent I just did. Just wanted a whistle. I just was imagining, and then I thought, well, their equivalent of DEA is probably watching me on the beach going, follow that guy. Follow that guy. I still don't even know if there's cocaine in my whistle. Hold on, this should be part of the song. And what do you got? I'm the one guy in the history of Costa Rica to ever buy a whistle without drugs. If you see anybody in America with one of these whistles, you know they're a cokehead, except for me. I'm the only one. It's got a warped tail. Maybe these are handmade. Thank you for listening. What's Wrong with Orny Adams 140. Thank you to Eric for mastering the audio. Of course, he was at the show Saturday night, and he witnessed it all. I want to thank everyone that watches my Patreon. Thank you to people that subscribe to this podcast, that are watching my videos and sharing the videos. I'm going to see everybody in Chicago that are at the shows. Great meet and greet afterwards. I've got all new t-shirts. So stop by and say hi. I'm excited for 141. I think my buddy who went to Costa Rica with me will be on that podcast. All right. Have a wonderful day. And I hope this tail is off. It just bums me out. Anyway, thank you.